This is my 644D serger. Here in England where I live, we call them overlockers because they overlock the edges. Okay, now this is the second attempt at this, and it wasn't till I viewed the results I realised you couldn't see what I was doing when I was actually passing the thread through the thread tensioner. Now, the only difference between my machine and yours, which is the 634D, is, and you have to forgive me, that's light that you can see sticking down. So let me just move it over for a second. I have a telescopic tension arm, that's a straight bar, and at the back, below that, I also have a straight platform for holding the threads. Now, I have to reset all these to 0, and with my threads already threaded into the thread channels, I've got them ready to demonstrate, I hope, how to do the lower looper. And that's the bugbear, the lower looper. And I hope to be able to explain the easy thread part. Okay, I've used a pale green for the lower looper, a yellow for the upper looper, a blue for the right needle, and a sort of crushed raspberry for the left hand needle. So we'll start with the lower looper thread, and I'm just going to put this thread up onto the bed. Get it, I'll move it, I'll just leave it hanging. Now I'm hoping you can see this. I carry it along from the thread tension, the thread guide, over to this gizmo. I slide it inside of it. It's a nice easy thread one, there's nothing complicated about it. It has to go through, and this is where I have problems because I don't see too well, and even with the aid of my tweezers I find it difficult to get it through the holes. I pass my thread through the first lower looper guide, which is that one. Pull it through. Come on, don't be coy. Then there is a second one, and it's this one here. It's attached to a circular plate with a small arrow engraved onto it, and the small arrow points anti-clockwise. So first of all we need to get that thread through that guide, and I'm hoping my hands don't obstruct the view too much. Pull that through. Now this is the easy thread bit. You push that lever up in an anti-clockwise direction, and what it does is it brings forward a hook there which the thread has to pass around, and a hook here which the thread has to pass around. So we guide the thread behind that bottom hook, behind this top hook. I guide it behind that top hook. It's easier when you're sat directly in front of it and you're not trying to show how to do it. Okay, that's into position. So I'm going to pull that thread through a bit more. When I return this to the bottom position, which is where it should be, I I don't know if I have enough strength in my... no, I have to do it with my thumb. You can see now the two hooks have disappeared inside underneath and you can't see them. That's what they meant by easy thread. You turn this lever anti-clockwise to bring those two hooks forward. So I'll do that again so as you can see. You'll notice no hooks showing, thread is passing directly underneath here, in behind there. So I press it up and the two hooks come into view. You see that? Now, if I thread up with my lower looper in the position it's in now, it's going to snag up on the top looper arm, and we don't want that. So we have to move that upper looper. Let me just click this back again before I forget. And I hope that you've seen that. I'll just hold the camera a bit closer and bring that back out again. Wrong way. You push it up and it brings out the two hooks, that top one and that bottom one with the green on it. Okay, and the lower looper is in the wrong position for threading, so I have to turn the flywheel on the right hand side of the machine. It sits below your tensioner knobs, and just move that so that there is a nice gap between this, the riser bar for the upper looper, and the lower looper's head. Right, I'm going to put the camera back now and hope you can still see. Now, as I said, I don't have very good eyesight, and you're going to have the benefit of seeing my rather chubby hand as I try to get this through the looper's eye. If I could see it. There it is. Go on, you can go a bit further than that, please. There it is. I grab that, I pull it, making certain it's not wrapped around anything, and at the moment it is. It's wrapped around that. So I have to clear that. If it wraps around this, it'll get broken. Now I've got to get this under that foot without going over the top of that. So I cheat. I bring it forward. The book says to take it straight back. If you take it straight back, you run the risk of being in the wrong spot. So I take it that way. Now I take the yellow thread. It doesn't go through the main guide for the looper thread. It goes through this little pink one here. See that? And all you need to do is slide it, which I can't do, so you're going to have to see my hands again in the way. Get it under that pink thing. Oh, sorry about this. Come on. If I could just get it into the right position. There it is. And I just slide it up inside of it. And I give it a little pull. It has to go behind the thread guide here. Again, I have to use my tweezers. My aim isn't very good. Right, it's in there. And now I have to remove my loopers. And I've tucked the other one out of the way now. And thread this one, but I need a bit more slack. And try and get this one through that little eye. Drop that down. Give myself a little bit of room. Go on, in you go. I can't even thread a darning needle. Go on, a little bit further than that, please. I think you're too small for me to grab. Yes. Ah, better. And just... I have a lodger in my hands. It's called Arthur. Osteoarthritis, which makes my joints just a little bit stiff. Okay, now I lift the foot again and I guide this thread under the foot, the heel of the foot, to the back of the machine. Okay, now you can see the green thread is not looping over this anywhere at the moment. Now we have to thread the needles, and this is, oh, wonderful fun, I don't think. I brought it through the thread guides, and now I have to get my blue thread, which is for my right hand needle, into the thread guide above the presser arm, needle arm, and behind the thread guide at the top of the needles. And I need to raise my needles. Keep those back there. Now my needles are as high as they will go. I think. Yeah, there's not a lot in it. And this is where we have real fun. Now I have to mention one thing before I try to thread the needle. You have a little tool that goes with your serger. You cannot put a serger needle in without one of these. There isn't an awful lot of room for your fingers, and you're never certain just if your needle is high enough or not. I know because I tried it when I opened my serger. I think my son was the last person to use it, and he broke a needle and didn't tell me. I know that the right hand needle is always slightly lower than the left hand needle. So I put the needle in and I thought I'd got it high enough. I hadn't. And as soon as I went to start chaining, bang. Didn't break the needle, but I gave it a hell of a bend. The other end has got a threader. Now, as hard as I try, I have never been able to use this threader. It's supposed to work very simply. You just thread your thread down through the slot, push it into the eye of the needle, nothing. No matter which way I try it. Probably because I'm not getting it into the right position, still nothing. So I have to go through the tortuous threading. And it is torturous for me because I cannot see the hole. And I still can't see the hole. Oh, where's my scissors? So I cut an angle at the end of my thread. Not straight across, but at an angle. And try and get the thread in the hole. You'll notice I said try. Oh, look at that, it's gone in. You pull that, making certain it's not catching on anything. Take it to the back of the machine. Come on, be a sweetheart. And that has to go under the heel of the foot as well. So I just guide it under the heel of the foot. Drop my foot again. And take my red thread behind the needle guide, the thread guide, sorry. Oops, I hit the camera. And we'll try threading the other needle. Let me cut the wedge on the end. Just cut it at an angle. I don't lick the ends or do anything like that. Wet thread will repel from the needle. And that's through, but not enough of it is through. There we go, managed to get that through. Now this time I pull him once I've got hold of it. I think I'm grabbing it and I'm not. I'm missing it by a mile. Missed it again. Got it. Pull that one to the left. Take it down between the cutter blade and the foot. Lift the foot and take that to the back. Now fingers crossed, because it's Murphy's Law, if anything's going to go wrong, it's the instant you try to demonstrate something. We'll try a bit of chaining. So first of all, I will set all my tensions for 3. Each tension has to be set separately for when you're going to do your serging. There's no magic number. You have to test it for each one. You can't escape not doing it. It's a bit of a fiddle and it does take a few minutes, but it's well worth the effort. Okay, that thread's not caught under the heel of the foot. Come on, over here. Isn't it always the same? There we go. Now it's onto the heel of the foot. So I turn the machine on and pray quietly that it works properly. Oh, that caught me unaware. There we go. There is our chaining or overlock stitch, and I'll very quickly put a piece of fabric through. This is a scrap of old muslin, not muslin, chiffon. And I like to lift my foot and get it under the foot to begin with. Chain off, pull it to the side. Pull it to the side, you run the risk of breaking one of your looper threads. Okay. There you can see the four different colours. The red left needle thread, the right blue needle thread, the yellow upper looper and the green lower looper. Now the tensions are all wrong for this chiffon, but you can see with the different colours which thread is doing what and what needs to be adjusted. I hope that helps you.